basically, Scott Bessent posted today and said that in line with the ongoing productive talks in Switzerland, so between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States, Iran has committed to a free and open transit in the Strait of Hormuz and allowed the United Nations IAEA to come and inspect their nuclear facilities. These are just words, but as a result of these promises, Scott Bessent has issued a temporary 60-day license so that the Islamic Republic can sell any and all oil products or petrol products that they would want. But there is a caveat to this. And the caveat is, so this lets the Islamic Republic to produce, ship, sell its oil, okay? They had a lot of their oil already on ships. They just need to find some buyers and that's it, right? So the first few million barrels, they're going to get billions from, okay? But, and right before I read this, my personal opinion is that their production was damaged to some extent, and they're going to have a lot of people come in and repair this, which we already knew was going to be an expensive and time-consuming piece. So their production, even if they are allowed to sell their oil for a long period of time, their production may not go back to what it was before the war. But they will still get billions from this oil. There's a caveat to it, though. They can sell their oil to anyone. The way it goes back to them, the way the money goes back to Tehran, is through legitimate means. They cannot use money laundering or any fraud or anything like that. No shadow fleet business. Everything has to be legit. We know that the Islamic Republic largely uses shadow fleet tankers to do this. So even if the money is coming back, it's traceable because it's legit. This is why Scott Bessent made it like this, so that he knows exactly which bank and which company is working with the Islamic Republic for 60 days. After this period, and this can be extended, obviously, but at some point it's going to end. When it ends, these companies have to weigh. They know that this is a temporary waiver, and they will be doing legitimate business with the Islamic Republic, who will be sanctioned again and labeled as terrorists. So this is going to limit the buyers. Now, China is still going to come in and sweep as much oil as they possibly can, but that is the caveat to this, basically.
Well, I mean, they are getting, I mean, this is the first time the Islamic Republic gets to sell its oil in the free markets without discount in US dollars. And it's like, even if they go back to sanctions back then, it will be without the blockade. It would just be just like before, discounted price to China continue. But this is a huge boost of money right now to the Islamic Republic. Huge, like millions of. Yeah, let me actually. I have the number. Where is the number? So I'll find it, but somewhere here. Okay, here, 36 million barrels. So they already, just as soon as the restrictions were removed, this is already done, by the way. Like, this is not something that is happening. The Islamic Republic exported approximately 36 million barrels of crude oil since just 7 days ago, according to maritime intelligence firm Tanker Trackers, underscoring the rapid return of oil shipments following the partial easing of restrictions. And again, without sanctions, this hasn't happened for ever, as much like for as long time. With no sanctions in US, in the free markets, with no discount or anything like that. So it's not just the blockade has been removed. It has the blockade and the sanction has been removed, which apparently I didn't know this, because I thought that you need Congress approval for this to be able to remove sanctions, and I was wrong about this. The president doesn't need Congress for a temporary pause on sanctions. The executive branch can act alone using two tools. Tool number one, built-in waivers. Congress usually includes national security waivers in its laws, allowing the president to temporarily suspend sanctions. That's one. Also, executive orders. Most specific U.S. sanctions were created by presidential executive order, not by Congress. the president can unilaterally pause what they created. Congress can only stop it by passing a new veto-proof law to strip the president of this waiver power. So apparently, the White House can remove sanctions, and the Islamic Republic has just been injected with a lot of cash, like a lot of cash, directly with the USD. Like, this is big money going to IRGC.
Yeah, so this is exactly what they're doing with this 60-day waiver that they can sell their oil. Now, this, as you just said, it's temporary. It can't last forever. It can be extended to a certain amount. Then Congress has to vote for it, and Congress can't really vote for it. Their hands are tied on that part because the IRGC are still a terrorist organization. They'd have to renounce them as a terrorist organization, which Congress would never vote to do that. But there's loopholes. There's loopholes that, you know, me and you would never even know or think about. So I'm not saying nothing's possible. This seems like they're going to get between $4, $5, $6 billion from the oil that they've sold so far.
Yeah.
Which is a huge amount. So this amount, I don't know if that's going to reach the low level people to keep them from being unhappy, but it's going to give them enough cash to do whatever they need to do in the short time being, whatever it is that they choose. So yes, this is pretty much throwing them a lifeline in exchange, financially, in exchange for supposedly letting the IAEA inspectors into Iran. We'll see if that actually happens. I don't know how soon or how
They already
long.
said that that's not happening. The IRGC
Yeah.
just came out recently saying that's fake. We're not doing that.
Yeah. And that's a regular pattern, you know. Donald Trump and JD Vance and the US comes and says, yes, Iran's agreed to this. And then the Islamic Republic comes and says, we never said that. That's not happening. It's never happening.
So we'll
So
see if
that's what I was thinking. Arakchi came out and said all this. He's like, oh, we got everything. I'm like, okay, so what did you give in return? And then the US came out and was like, yep, we got them to say IAEA inspectors are allowed in. And I'm like, but what?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This violates the idea that we're going to give them money based on behavior, because the IAEA inspectors are still not there in Iran. You got a pinky promise from the Islamic Republic that they will be allowed in later, and they already got the money. You already injected around $4 billion into IRGC. You were supposed to, that money was supposed to, like, you said you're going to wait for behavioral changes. Is the behavioral change the promise of the IAEA? Like, JD Vance is going around and saying like, oh yeah, they agreed. Well, the agreement means nothing until they're actually in Iran and continue to be in Iran and observing things and monitoring things. The agreement means nothing. You just took their words for it, and then the cash has been released already in USD, and there we go. So there's that.
Their strategy is that now that they've dangled this carrot in front of the Islamic Republic, they're like, look, we waived your oil for 60 days. You can sell as much as you want, but we're going to keep track of every transaction that goes on. The United States is hoping that this is the carrot, that this keeps the Islamic Republic at the negotiating table. This is what the US, I'm not saying this is me, guys. This is literally what the US believes. This is their strategy with this. Give them the reward first and hope it keeps them on the negotiating table. That is clearly what they are doing.
Yeah, but they're eating the carrot already. Like, anyways, okay.
Yeah. So the other thing is that
it was
Trump,
supposed to be based on behavior, and we haven't seen that
should have been.
behavioral change. And they got the money anyways.
They should have. Yep. It should have been the behavior first, because they've been saying that. So a lot of more. It's really frustrating. So here's what Trump can do. He's hoping that this keeps him on the negotiating table. He can remove the waiver whenever he wants. That's it. That's the plan. That's the plan. Now, at the same time, about the Swiss talks, the White House is really pushing all of this onto JD Vance. So everything that JD Vance has come out and said, the White House is making it seem like it's only him saying it. Trump has nothing to do with these negotiations, and JD Vance is being set up to be the fall guy, the same way that Pezeshkian is being set up to be the fall guy. If things go wrong, guys, which I would be really surprised if things went wrong.
Where's okay, do you have anything to show that
I
this is what
do.
they're doing? Okay, with JD Vance. Okay.
This is the official White House. Here, I'll show you. This is the official White House, and this just Vice President Vance. All of the statements are like this, and Trump came out and made those threats. I think it was a couple days ago, which is not really helping the negotiations. It just seems to me like he's the one that is like, I'm the talk guy. I'm gonna go talk with them. This is all me. Oh, you're muted.
But it's being posted by the White House as if the White House is backing this. But like I don't see it that way.
Yep.
People are like, "Oh, JD Vance is gonna do pushing him." Like it's not like Pezeshkian, because Pezeshkian was speaking of himself. It's not like the office of Mushtaba Khamenei was posting his statements. The fact that this is being posted by the White House means that the White House is endorsing this.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. He's the vice president.
Okay, so
but it's not like Trump
I
is
know,
reposting it.
but it's not analogous to Pezeshkian, okay? Because if it's being endorsed by the White House, that means that if Vance screws up, it will also be the White House screwed up. The only way this would be like Pezeshkian is that if Pezeshkian said that we needed to do an MOU, that statement would be posted by the website of the Supreme Leader, which is not. That's why I'm saying like the White House is fully backing JD Vance right now. So if he falls, so does the White House.
Yes, but he was the one he was the face of this, is what I'm trying to say. It's not the exact same as Pezeshkian,
Right.
but he is the face of this deal. Like the person who will get the most shtick for this, Trump's going to get shtick no matter what. He's going to get criticism no matter what. But this guy's been sticking out his neck, and he's not been saying or doing too many right things here. So hopefully JD Vance wisens up and learns the way of the Shia Muslim world. But I don't think that's going to happen. And largely, people have been thinking that he's been looking like a fool lately. In fact, in what he's been saying, you saw him get snubbed by the Qatari. What was it, their prime minister?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. But people are saying that was maybe taken out of I don't know if not Qatari. Sorry, I said you Pakistan. Amir, Qatari Amir. Okay, Sheikh or Amir? Is it Sheikh? Guys, for Qatar, is it Sheikh or is it Amir? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't know if that was clipped out of context or whatever, but we'll see. It did look really bad though.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
I just show
So
it.
traffic. Sorry, what did you say?
No, what traffic? What?
The Strait of Hormuz traffic.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yesterday, 5 vessels. The Strait of Hormuz had 5 vessels. That's it. That's the strait is completely closed. Like 5 vessels is nothing.
So Sketchy was telling us that the reason why the traffic in Strait of Hormuz went down is because for insurance prices just went up. I don't know what, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this does not look good. The whole point of the United States doing this entire charade is being destroyed because 5 ships went through the strait yesterday, 26 the day before. So this is lower than when America was carrying out Project Freedom Plus in secret.
Inserver is saying they should switch to all states. Oh, that's good. Oh my god, yep. Yeah, see, Sketchy, Fleshy is saying, yep, insurance rates shot up. That's the reason. Interesting.
Okay, so the Islamic Republic has roughly 67 million barrels of oil. Actually, no, sorry. This is 67 million barrels in total stranded in the Persian Gulf. So that's about $9 billion. How much of that is the Islamic Republic's? I don't know, because it's hard to say. They don't have exact it's not
Wait,
like they're flagged out of Iran.
they have how much? How many did you say?
So in total, out of all the ships stranded in the Persian Gulf, there's 67 million barrels in total. How
60,
much
how
of
many?
that? 67 million.
67? So you're saying that
67.
because I just read you that since June 15th, the Islamic Republic managed to export 36 million.
Okay, so then this 67 is probably the Islamic Republic's oil that we know of. So that's 8 to 9 billion.
After
They
the
sold.
36 is out? After 36 is out or before?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I just don't see how these numbers are entirely accurate. There's probably like ballpark-ish, but to find an
But
exact
36,
number.
but 36 million barrels in 7 days is huge. Like, how did they?
lot.
How did like given the traffic that I'm seeing? Like, could you? Because the traffic was not that high. They managed to get 36 million barrels out in that short
Yeah,
of a
that's what I'm
time.
thinking. Is that okay? So what was it?
These
3
tankers
days
might be
ago?
big, must be really big tankers if that much oil got out.
3 days ago, there was what, 50-ish ships that transited on one day. So it's saying that half of those ships were from the Islamic Republic. That's I don't know.
I mean, that's believable if the U.S. blockade managed to only keep the Islamic Republic tankers in, and everyone else was going through because of the U.S. helping them to get out. Maybe what was left in the Persian Gulf was mostly from the Islamic Republic.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.